begin with what we have. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our finance and financial maths session. We're going to try to run so that we cover both. I've got a few questions just to allow us to see what's going on. On the other hand, I think I have extra 2 questions that I just received some few minutes ago. Hopefully we'll be able to get to that. All right, just checking my YouTube here if we are streaming live. Just 1 second, and then we'll start first with functions. All right, in one of our private sessions, we did look at hyperbola, and I believe everyone should please go and look at hyperbola. You can get your marks quickly from hyperbola. All right, now, so today I am going to start with parabola and exponential functions. Let's see quickly. Oh, wait, before I go there, let's see something here. We're doing calculus for about 3 days. And let's look at how to answer this optimization. And then we go on to the rest of what we have planned for the day. Look at this. I just remember that we had this outstanding. The radius of a base of a cylindrical called can is x. So it's a cylindrical called can. For clarity, you can draw just to make sure that you are able to see what's going on. All right. The radius is x, and its volume is 440. Just an application question quickly. Determine the height of the cone. Now, of the cylinder. We did speak about this, that when it comes to a cylinder, they will not give you the formula. And I told you, oh, hi, Taiba, how are you? Great. And I told you they will not give you the formula for the volume. You must know that the volume is the area of the base. Please know this, multiplied by the height. And because it's a circular, it is pi r squared multiplied by h. So if I were to throw that in, what would I have? V, write my formula, pi r squared h. My volume is 440 pi x squared h. What are we looking for? We're looking for the height. So what is h? 440 over pi x squared. Please, everybody get these 2 marks. Get those 2 marks. Should you have a cylinder, I want to be confident when I see the paper that everyone who's attending here will be able to get that. Surprise, your hand is raised. Surprise, Zita. Your hand is raised. I don't know if it's a mistake or you're trying to say something. Okay, no problem. I'm just going to lower it so that I'll see next time when you raise a hand. All right, please do raise a hand again, should you need to. Shows that the area of the material needed to manufacture the can. We're simply talking about a can. It's a cold drink. It must have a top. All right, total surface area. Let's see, we have an answer to get. Again, I told you that if it is closed, we have 2 circles plus side. And if it is 2 circles, each circle is pi r squared, and the side is 2 pi r h. Please know that formula. Area. Okay, let's see quickly. 2 pi x squared plus 2 pi x What is the height? Do you notice there's no h on the formula? So you come in and throw in your 440 over pi x squared. What are you going to have? 2 pi x squared. What is 2 times 440? That will be 880. Okay, let me do it on the side. This one is a giveaway question for everyone. So 2 times 440 will give us 880. The pi will cancel the pi, the x, so I have just one x remaining. Check that. Again, you are having two straight marks. That and that. Now, 8.3, I hope this makes sense. This is just simple. I need everyone. Should your paper come in like this, you don't make a mistake. You take advantage of such questions. Determine the value of x for which the least amount of material. Now, examiner has given me a word here. Least. Okay, I've got a hand. Manelo.
Sir, may you please repeat 8.2?
Mamelo, tell me where you lost. Let me find out the exact point where you lost.
So I got lost at the second step.
Which one?
Where you say A is equals to 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r height. What did you substitute there, sir?
H. Is that?
Oh, okay.
Because my formula has no H, so I'm throwing away everything that has to do with H.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. My mic should not have an echo. Let me see something here. My mic should be fine. Guys, does it have an echo? Arthur says it has an echo. Sumaleng, your hand is up. Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Thank you. So, Arthur, please check. Mic is fine. Now, 8.3, determine the value of x. Okay, the examiner already is working with something here. You need to read carefully to know which one you are working with. They said the least. Least means our first derivative is 0. Amount of material needed to manufacture. And this is material need. Can you see that, right? So we know, and I told you, even if you don't get it, you can use what they have. 2 pi x squared plus 880 x to the power of -1. Don't derive with x as a denominator. So a prime of x, the 2 can multiply. We have 4 pi x. All right, 2 times 2 is 4 pi here, and we subtract 1 from the exponent. -1 times 880 would give us that. X to the power -2, we've derived. And because they said least, that, I told you, please always write that. That should be equal to 0. Now, what do we have? 4 pi x. Look at what I'm going to do here to make it easy for you to see. X squared equals to 0. I just dropped down my x. Now, what do I do? Multiply across by x squared. Or you can cross multiply. Okay, let's do the cross multiplication so that everybody can see. Cross multiply, what do you have? 4 pi x cubed. The reason I don't want to do this, please listen, the reason I don't want to cross multiply is this. Sometimes it will give you a quadratic and I don't want you to divide. So please take note, if it gives you a quadratic, always watch out. So can I do that? I'm just worried because if, let's do that, especially if there's a number somewhere there. So 4 pi x cubed, in this case, it will still give you the same. All right, so I have multiplied by x cubed. So watch out. If there's another x there, then you need to factorize and not divide. Okay. All right. So in this case, we only have 1x. So 880. What is x? 880 over 4 pi. And because it is a cube, we have a cube root there. And we can quickly use our calculator. This is not the thing we have for today, but I just saw that as I was scrolling down, we have a question that was outstanding. So, and it's quite a simple one. We are not stressing. The issue is remember your formulas for pi. 4,12. I hope we are all good. What is the unit here? The centimeter. Determine the value of x correct to 2 decimal places. This is straightforward. This is where you rejoice in the exam that, oh yeah, this thing that always scares me comes in nice. But if you miss the formula, which we did in the last session, explaining how to get your formulas, please know how to get. If it's closed, if one end is open, if both ends are open, be careful. Don't cram the formula. Just know the different shapes that make up a cylinder and know the formula for the volume, because you will not be given the formulas. I hope we are okay. I hope we are okay there. All right, let's go to our functions now quickly. Let's run. Let's hit our functions now as quickly as possible. All right, guys, we have a parabola, and I'll be saying a few things as we go on. Please make small notes for yourself. Very, very important. The sketch below shows the graph of f of x. Because of time, I'm not really going to give you a chance to work out all of this. But anywhere I see that I need to make a quick summary, I'll stop teaching and make that summary for us. All right. So have your notes somewhere, just write on the side, highlight them. We have that. And g of x equals to x plus 4. Guys, there are basic things that I need everyone to know. Very basic. X-intercept, Y-intercept, domain, and blah, blah, blah. Look, the examiner says, question 5.1, x coordinate of A and B. What do you know about A and B? A and B. These are the x what? Intercepts. And what do we know? Y should be equal to what? 0. What is the other way of an examiner asking you for x-intercepts? Check. If the examiner says solve f of x equals to 0, they're asking you for the same thing. They're asking you for x-intercepts because your f of x is y. Take note of the language. So what do we have? Negative x squared minus x. If you are not sure of how to factorize, please use a quadratic. But for us now, let's multiply everything by negative. We are going to have that. Then we have our factors. Please show. Don't tell me you did it somewhere, because there's a mark there. 4 and 3, positive and negative. So what do we have? X equals to negative 4, or so you have 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark. So I know my x value of A, let's be specific, negative 4. All right, let me just write it here. So the x value of A is negative 4. Please, no one should be getting this wrong. I plead with you, my dear learners. No one. Don't say you made a mistake. All right. While I've done this, can I quickly get the turning point? I want you to watch this. And I want to do turning point. Like I said, I want to do this in a few number of, because I'm going to need it. Turning point. I am going to do it in 4 ways. Someone said, turning point of a parabola in 4 ways. Yes. Number 1, x equals to minus b over 2a. Out of these 4, you must be able to do at least 1. What is my b? Negative 1 over 2 multiplied by negative 1. That will give me what? Negative half xcp. Number 2, xcp is the midpoint of your x-intercept. My x1 and my x2. Negative 4 plus 3 over 2. What is 3 minus 4? Negative 1. That gives me negative. Can you see my answer? Right? Number 3. I hope I'm not rushing. These are basic things. Let me do number 3 on the next page. I hope you're okay. Some of you, I'll give you 30 seconds for those that want to write. Turning point. 4 beautiful ways of doing the turning point. You must at least know 2 here. And I'll tell you why I am looking for turning point when I look for the range. Okay, I'll explain that. I hope I can move forward now. Minus b over 2a for a parabola. It's the midpoint of your turning point. An examiner can want to trick you on that. Okay, let's go for the third one. The third option of turning point, TP, option 3, is to know that that is the maximum point, f prime of x equals to 0. Let's derive. Negative 2x minus 1 equals to 0. Negative 2x equals to 1. Divide both sides, check. We're coming back to the same point. That's the third one. Okay. The fourth one, completing the square. My beautiful learners, please listen to this one carefully. This you will also find under number patterns. All right? So, f of x is equal to negative x squared. I'll write some note here. Step 1. Make sure the coordinate of x squared is positive 1. Make sure the coefficient of x squared is positive 1. So I'm going to do that step now. All right? By factoring out the negative. So f of x equals to negative x squared plus x. Do you see that all my signs have changed? That's my step 1. Step 2. I'm going to give you the short version. Create your pattern or your format, all right? And divide the coefficient. Divide, or let me, I can do it here, of x by 2. Please listen to this and watch this. So I'm going to have f of x. I'm slowing down. I have a negative outside. I have a block bracket. Please watch that. I am creating my platform. I'm going to write x here. I'm going to write my constant outside. All right. Okay, I want to do it in simple steps. First, I create my platform. My constant goes out, but remember the big bracket encompasses everything. Now, divide the coefficient of x by 2. What is the coefficient of x? 1. Divided by 2, that gives me positive half. Oh, that's the half we were getting all along. Square, and please watch this. So this is just a simple note to guide you. Square and subtract. I'll put my arrow here. I know I have to, maybe I have to do this again. On a fresh page. Square and subtract. I'll do it on a fresh page for you. What is half squared? 1/4. But I'm going to subtract it. Let's do it on a fresh page because I think I'm squeezing up a lot of things here. Let's do it on a fresh page together. I'll start again. I will start again, so don't feel overwhelmed. I'm going to do that again on a fresh page. All right, but take down the notes. Make sure the coefficient of x is positive 1. That's number 1. Create your platform. That's number 2. Divide the coefficient of x by 2. You square it and you subtract it. Okay, let's quickly do it here again. Because I want to make sure, guys, we are able to do everything on functions. Check here. Let's do it again in case I lost you somewhere. F of x equals to negative x squared plus x. Or is it plus or minus? Minus x plus 12. Okay, so we said first, we bring that out, x squared plus x minus 12. Next step, create your platform. I'm going to do that platform for you, and minus 12. All right, that's my platform. This one comes out. X plus half. Where is my half coming from? I'm going to drop this by saying b over 2. So I'm making small notes for you. All right. Drop my constant. Now square and subtract. Minus 1/4. Let's simplify now. What do we have? Negative x plus half squared minus. Now, what will that give you? I think that will give you negative 49 because that's 48. Negative 49/4. When we now fully expand, that gives us that. Negative times negative plus. And this, my beautiful learners, gives me my turning point coordinate immediately. Negative half, 49/4. That's my Q. Please here, remember to change the sign. X's are deceiving. And this is the value of Q. And I want to prove that value of Q to you. This is my P. So turning point is P and Q. You have completed the square there. Wait, where is this 49/4 coming from? Okay, 1 second. I'm going to come to you now. Yes, there's a hand up there. Moses. I have Moses, Mbali, and one more person. Talk to me quickly. Moses.
Say, I want to ask. So you took 1 from x, 1/2.
Yes, we divided the coefficient. Remember, the coefficient of x is 1, right?
Oh, okay. Oh, there is a silent one there.
Yes, your B is 1.
Okay.
All right, great question there, Moses. Mbali. Mbali, your hand is up as well. Tabisa, your hand is up.
So I wanted to ask that where does the 49 come from?
Where?
Because when I calculate on my side, I get 48 instead.
Sorry, say that again, Mbali.
I wanted to ask where does the 49 come from?
Okay, let me circle something here. Maybe you are not putting the negative, this whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah, put it on your calculator.
Okay.
Negative 12 minus 1 over 4.
Oh, I got
So
it.
don't forget that it's not just a 12, it's a negative. Okay, that's Tabisa. All right, we're good.
Negative 49. Thank
Yes. Awesome. Thank you. I love those questions you are asking. We must get this thing right after today. Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Now, the question is, I have my XTP. What is the Y value? I will always substitute my that in. Please, another important thing here. This is where learners get it wrong again. Let's substitute. There's a negative outside. What is your X? Negative half. It is the X that is squared. Minus, what is my X? Negative half. Plus what? 12. Let's throw that in a calculator, then I'll explain something on the parabola right now. Negative, open bracket, negative 1 over 2, all squared, minus, please be careful here, don't rush and forget all the negatives. All right, plus 12. We must have 49 over 4. Check that. 49 over 4. While you're writing, I want to write a few notations here and let me know if it makes sense. Take note of these notations. F prime of negative 1 over 12 is equal to 0. The examiner just gave you the turning point. F of negative half is equal to 49 over 4. We must know what all of this means, please. If make a note for yourself. These two, very important. This is telling me XTP, and this is giving me YTP. Why do I need this? Why do I need this? Number one, A is less than 0, which means it's a sad face, and that will give me what you know as the maximum point. Now, what is the coordinate here? Negative half. Now, what is the importance of this? This would actually help me find my range. We have said the maximum point is this part. It means if that is the maximum, all other values must be less than that. We said the biggest value is 49 over 4. Every other Y value must be less than or at least equal to the maximum. Please let me know if the notation makes sense to you. No, they're coming. The maximum, please, it's important. I cannot get my turning point. In fact, let's put this note down. Let's put this note down quickly. put this note down. Like I said, I'll be giving you small notes. Let me do something here. Let me do notes. Hold on, I'm going to go back. If when A is greater than 0, all right, your range will be Y will be greater than or equal to Y value of that. How are you? Less A less than 0. It's a sad face. Your range will be Y would be less than or equal. I want to notice something here. Look at the sign. Look at the sign. Okay, let me take, I'm going to go back. Talk to me. I'm going to go back so you can write, just creating a page for us to write those small, tiny notes. Juliet.
I can't see the screen.
Sorry?
I can't see the screen, like it doesn't show anything.
Sorry, you can't see?
The screen.
What we see right now?
I just see the cartoon of the Krazifizix. I can't see.
Look for the, just scroll down, look for those who are in class and look for the other crazy. You should have about 2 Krazifizix. The second one will give you the screen.
Okay, thank you.
All right. No, it's not the y-intercept here. We're not talking about the y-intercept. Y turning point, y value of the turning point, not y-intercept. Y value of the turning point. Moses, your hand is raised. Sia, let me know if you got what you're saying.
Say, I wanted to ask, every time when they're asking us about the range, do you take the y values where the graph turns?
Absolutely, that's exactly what we are saying. Because we are saying everything below here represents your y values. So where the graph is turning, you see there's no value here on top. So the maximum is here and downwards, down, less than. So you take the y value of the turning point.
Okay, sir.
And always remember the shape of the graph. There's a hand, Abigail.
Hi, sir. I just recently joined and I wanted to find out if this will be on YouTube as well.
Sorry, you're finding out?
I just wanted to find out if this lesson would be on YouTube, sir. I missed the first part of it.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Any more questions? Guys, look, the last questions are always quite challenging sometimes, so I need us to get these basic ones correct. That's always my system. Before I start seeing things that are difficult, let us get those marks that are easy. All right, I hope we are okay. Please go through lesson again. Make sure you get this basic concept before we start finding things difficult. Look at 5.3. Somebody's already screaming now. Determine the maximum value of k of x. If k of x is 3 to the power f of x minus 12, somebody's saying, oh no, now we're starting. Examiner says what? The maximum value of k of x, if k of x is 3 to the power f of x, 2 interpretations that I want us to see. Number 1, maximum. Talks about what? Turning point. Number 2, f of x talks about what? Y value. Oh, wait. Can I then say k of x Do we know determine the y value of the maximum of f of x? We just did that. 49 over 4. That's the maximum value for what? F of x. And why are we saying maximum? Because of the shape. Oh, so that is what? 49 over 4 minus what? 12. Please put this in a calculator and you're done with that question. Just appears difficult, but the two words that sell this question out, the maximum value and f of x. F of x is y. Remember, we know the maximum. Let's put something here. The maximum value of f of x is 49 over 4. We just bring that in. What's the answer? 1 comma? Simple, straightforward. Thank you for that answer. Sila, what is P1? What do you mean by P1? Oh, somebody's asking, what paper are we doing? All right, guys, are we okay? Can I move on? So if I have some small notes, which I do have actually, I do have a few notes to give you. Let's look at the fourth question quickly. Learners don't like this thing. Determine for which values of x will x multiplied by f. Learners don't like it. And it's two great marks that you can get without doing so much. X, please let's learn it today. Make up your mind that today will be the last day you're losing marks on this. If you make up your mind like that, you're going to find math a lot easier to approach. And then you follow it. Greater than, is it greater than? I'm not sure now. Greater than 0. I'm going to show you how to interpret and make a note again for yourself. All right? Start interpreting from the right-hand side. Start interpreting from the what? Right-hand side. When I say something is greater than 0, what does it mean? It is what? Positive. You start interpreting from the right-hand side. Greater than 0 means it is positive. That's our first thing. All right. Number 2. We're multiplying two things, right? What are we multiplying to get a positive? Both of them must be what? Both of them must be either positive, because we are multiplying, right? Positive times positive, or negative times what? Negative. These are the two. So number 1, number 2, determine the signs you are looking for. Determine the signs. It must be of the same sign in this case. If the examiner had said less than 0, what does it mean? One should be positive and the other one should be negative. Now you go back to your graph and don't forget. Don't forget. This is basically saying x multiplied by what? The y value. Because your f of x is what? Y. I'm going to sketch the graph here so we can play around with it. The graph, if I remember, looks like this. I'm lying. It's turning on the side. All right, the graph is turning on that side. Yes, great. And we know our x-intercept as -4 and 3. -4. All right. Let's first deal with x. What are the signs? I'm going to use a yellow here. the signs of x are negative here, 0 here, and positive there. I hope that makes sense. That's x. These are the signs of what? X. Now let's go look at f of x. F of x means what? Y value. Let's use a green one. 0, these are what? Negative. On the axis, it is what? 0. What happens? It is positive across all this place. 0 and negative. Please take note, I am dealing with f of x. Maybe I should add f prime of x in the next, so I'll just do f prime of x as well. What am I looking for? Same signs, negative and negative, or just take a ruler and ask yourself, move it. Which sign am I touching here? The green is negative, the yellow is what? Negative. That's what I'm looking for. Until where? 0. Because after 0, what do you notice? The yellow is negative and the green is what? Positive. See, that's not going to work for us, right? Let me put a box. So I'm looking at this part. They are both negative. Where will I have both positive? Keep moving. Just use your ruler. Negative and positive here. Oh, there. So what do we have? We have positive and positive. But up to which point? Up to 3. Because after 3, what do you have? Positive and negative. After 3. Yellow is positive. And your green is what? Negative. Are we looking for that? What are we looking for? Same signs. Where they are. So, guys, sometimes you just need to do something as simple as this. Write your signs, and it helps you. I am looking for positive and positive. All right. So where is that? Oh, there we go. How do I write my answers now? If I need to write my answer, please check. It is from -4 going to the left, right? Once you do this, it is x, check my arrow, less than -4. Let's drop that arrow there. And what is going on here? That box is between which numbers? 0. Now, between. That gives you your inequality sign. It is less than, less than. So what's my answer? Small number on the left. We are done there. We are done there. Great. Thank you, Sia. Lovely. Guys, get all of those marks that are easy to get until it starts going crazy. Get all of, if you can, functions and calculus gives you about 70 over 150. Half the paper already. You're not done, Charles. Not done. Can get your question 1 in finance is A equals to P1 plus IN, reduction, and all of those. You have algebra, you have a few marks on number patterns. You know, every learner should strive for 100. I believe that every learner can get 100. I strongly believe. If you use your time well, use your study well, do focused study at this time. All right. If you do focused study, you can make it and make it very well. All right. Learners, again, don't like this 5.5. For which real values of K will that equation have 2 negative equal roots? Let's reproduce this page. Let's reproduce this page because I'm going to need to do some quick explanation. All right, there we go. They said, I'll give you the important points. Negative x squared minus x plus 12 equals to k. Let's first look at that. Guys, what is this? That's f of x. Equals to what? K. What is f of x? Y. When I say y equals to k, it is a horizontal line. Let's stop there. That's our first interpretation. Two negative unequal roots. What are roots? Points of what? Intersection. Now I am looking at two different graphs. What do I mean by two different graphs? I'll draw it here so we can play around with it. They said f of x, right? So here's my f of x. I want it drawn in a particular way. Yeah. There we go. And they said k, horizontal line. Take your ruler. All right? Take your ruler, draw that horizontal line, and ask yourself, how many points of intersection do I have at this point? There are two of them, right? But here, what are the x values? Negative and positive. What am I looking for? Two negative. This is one positive and one negative. Is that what I need? No. I'm going to continue. Let's just jump. What do I have there? X here is what? Negative. Oh, by the way, let me say x values. Roots are x values of the point of intersection. What is the x value here? Is that what I'm looking for? I need both to be on the left-hand side. Can I continue? What is it here? One negative and a 0. 0 is neither positive or negative. What would I have it again? Let's move up. What do I have? Negative. That's where we are going. So I notice that, oh, immediately I move above 0, I get to the negative one. All right? But where will I stop? If I get to the top here, please let me explain here. At the top here, what do we have? We have what? Equal roots. When the graph is at the turning point, the roots are equal. But am I looking for equal roots? No. So what should my answer be? I would only have 2 points of intersection between these two lines. Between those two, any line I draw between these two lines, in fact, let me make it a different color. Any line I draw between these two blue lines would give me what? So basically, I'm looking at this. It can go up from here to there. What is the y value here? 12. What is the y value here? 49/4. So we are saying between these two lines, y should be between. Let me create space. Y should be between what? 12 is the small number. 49/4, which is 12.25, somewhere there. Should be my big number. But am I looking for y though? Determine the values of what? K. Oh, wait. This equal to K. Can I replace it? And that's my answer. We are done there. Roots are the points of intersection. Please let me know. Where did we get 12 from? Y-intercept. 12 is the y what? Intercept. It's given from the graph. y-intercept. Thank you, Rosanna. Divine, are you okay? Let's see. Moses?
So can I ask, is there another method of dealing with this question? Because
Moses, no. Talk to me. Where are you lost? We are going to get this now. Tell me where you lost.
say I thought that you already found the answer when it comes to the equal roots there at the turning point.
No, those are equal roots. The examiner says unequal.
Oh, so say the other one needs to be negative and positive.
No. Read the question. Two negative unequal roots. Just 1 second there. The examiner says two. Let's make the graph a bit big. I need you to get these marks. Okay? Two negative unequal roots. Take care. If I draw a line, I'm going to quickly explain again, because we're saying this line is y equals to k. You notice that was negative and what?
And positive.
And do you understand what I mean by positive?
Yes.
Values. But we want what? Two negative unequal roots. So if I were to continue drawing negative and positive, but I want negative and what? Negative. But from where to where? That's the question we're asking ourselves now. That will only start. Check. Look at this yellow line. Negative and positive. When I get here, what happens? This one is negative, and this value is what? The x value is 0, remember, that's what we're looking at. But I want the x values to be what? Negative.
Negative.
Let me show you something here, okay? All right, check this. I'm going to show you and prove this to you. So, anywhere from here, if I go up a little bit, do you notice my answers are now negative?
Yes.
Good. And if I continue, where should I stop? It is still negative here, but it's what?
Equal root.
I want us to test something quickly. Everyone, we're going to test something here. All right. Thank you there, Itumeleng. Let's test something. I want you to see what this means. What's our equation? Negative x squared minus x plus 12. Please, I want us to solve this quickly. What was the turning point? 49/4. Right? Guys, YTP. Let's solve this. We understand what the nature of root means. Can I move this here? Negative x squared minus x plus 12. Now, what is 12 minus 49/4? That's negative 1/4. Is that fine? Good. Let's solve this easily. Let's move everything over to the other side. What would I have? X squared plus x plus 1/4 equals to 0. I don't want it to stress. Minus b plus or minus square root of what? B squared minus 4ac over 2a. Please give me your answer. Give me your answer. I want you to see something now. I want you to see what will happen. You will get negative half. Everybody do it. Remember, it's plus or minus.
Yeah.
Half.
It's negative half.
Did you put the negative in front? Did you say?
Yes, the first one is negative half.
Uh-uh. What do you notice? Negative equal.
Oh, they are both negative.
No, they are not just both negative. The values are also the same. Do you know where that negative half is? Look at that. Turning point. Those are two. So at that point, it's both negative and what? Equal. But we said for us to have two negatives and they are not equal, it should be between these two values. Why? At this point, we have what? X and 0. And at this point, we have what? Equal. But anywhere between here, we are going to have what? Two negative unequal, let me cancel roots, points of what? Intersection. Or two unequal x values of the point of intersection. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense to you. So the best way to do this is graphical. You cannot use it. It's not easy to use equations. You see, they are both giving you negative. But if I try any value between 12 and 49/4, and I want us to try it. Give me a value between 12. What is 49/4? 12,25, right? Good. So 12 and 12, what? Give me a number here. Example. Y can be equal to 12,2. We agree, right? Come, let's do this together. Y is equal to 12, what? 2. Let's see our answer, because I want you to see what this means. Negative x squared minus x plus 12 equals to, we said 12, let's move this here. What do we have? Negative x squared minus x plus 0,2, right? Multiply everything by negative. Quadratic, start typing quickly. Minus 1 plus or minus square root of what? 1 squared minus 4ac over 2a. Please tell me your answers. I'm going to tell you the signs already. Both answers must be negative and your answers must be different. Both answers will be, the graph tells us what our answers should be. Sorry? Yeah. Sorry?
What did you put negative digit?
Where?
By quadratic by b squared.
Where are you talking about?
It has to be negative inside your square root. Then b squared.
What is my b? From this equation. This is the one I'm solving, right? My a is 1 in front of x squared. What is my b? 1. And what is my c? What's your answer? Never. Check again. It goes between 12 and what? 12,25. Right? Oh, no, wait. If I move this over, 12 minus 12, okay, this is a negative. Right? So this should be what? Positive. Just change this one to positive. Because if we say 12 minus 12,2, that will give us what? Negative 0,2. Give me your answers. We will change that negative. It was it should be 12 minus 12,2. All right, negative 0,28. Is that what you have? Somebody give me an answer. Or what?
Oh, negative 0.7.
7. Can you see your answers? Both answers are what? Are they equal? No. So that is what it means when they say nature of roots. We can predict. We can predict. Please, guys, I don't know if it makes sense. We can predict. I don't know if we're good, because we need to move on. Let me know if we are okay. So the best way is to use graphs. Yes. I'll send a link. I did one question. I did explain some nature of roots again. I did one question. I'll look for it and send the link on whichever group that you are on. All right. Please, I need those marks. Let's do the last one together again quickly and move to the next question. Please rewatch these lessons if you want to understand functions. Nature of roots. Look at the last one. Write down the value of h, reflection. Now I see. If h, they say we should write down in this format, right? A x plus p squared plus q. If h is the reflection, okay. Reflection, I'm going to quickly show you a few things. Of f in the line. Five type of reflection that I need to take you on quickly. Let me do that in 5 minutes or less. Then we can answer this question. 5 types of reflection. In case you've never thought about or learned about this, this is your chance to learn about reflection. 5. Number 1, reflecting along the x axis. What do? You keep the x and change what? The sign of y. And how will the examiner also write it for you? Negative f of x. That's what they're going to write. Once you see that, you see my y value is changing. Example, if I have a 3 and a 4, and I reflect along the x, I'm going to what? Keep the x, change the y. The x and change the y. That's my first reflection. Let me see, there's a note here. So, which year is this paper? This particular question is, I think it's full state this year. Number 2, reflect along the y what? Axis. What do? Keep the y and what? And change the sign of x. What are we going to have? F of negative x. So if I have 3 to 4 and I'm reflecting, my x is the one that changes, which becomes what? And there's something common about these two. There is something common about these two, which is I'm going to link it to the third one. All right. You wanted to say something? Okay. Number 3. Reflect about a point. Now, there's something common about these 3. Reflect about what? A point. I'm going to link these 3 to one thing. The line or the point of reflection is the midpoint between an original and its image. Probably you didn't see it in the first one and the second one. I'm going to quickly link it together. The point of it's like a mirror. When you stand in front of a mirror, the mirror is the midpoint between you and the image that you see. If you take 2 steps away from the mirror, what happens to your image? It takes exactly what? 2 steps away from the mirror. So you are as far away from the mirror as your image. Hence the word reflection. So, if I tell you to reflect, example, reflect 3,4 around or about a point 1 and 2, what is my image going to be? Reflect the point 3 and 4. This is what, guys, just bring in your midpoint formula. Is that okay? So I'll say, what's my midpoint? x1 plus x2 over 2. And this should be equal to my x reflection. y1 plus y2 over 2 should also be equal to my y point of what? Reflection. In this case, I know my x1 as 3. Do I know my x2? No. But do I know my x point of reflection? 1. What's my answer? 3 plus x2 will be equal to what? 2. What is x2? -1. I'm done there. What's the next one? 4 plus y2 over 2 should be equal to what? 2. All right, what is that? 0. So what is my new point? And that is the same thing we did in question 1, in number 1 and 2. You may not see it, but I'm going to show you now quickly. I'll show you now quickly. Sir, does it mean that when we reflect along the x-axis? Thank you, Nebo, that's it. When we reflect along the x, it is the mirror. Let me show you number 1 and 2 graphically. And you would see that the reflection is just a mirror. Lloyd, talk to me.
Even so, may you please repeat the one reflecting about a point?
Okay. Look, what I'm saying here, let me show you. Wrap this 3 up quickly, right? Wrap this 3 up quickly. Maybe if I show you graphically, it would make more sense. That the point of reflection is always what? The mirror. Whether you are reflecting along y equals to x or anything, it is always the mirror. So look at this and you will get the point now. Check this. If I tell you to reflect a point, let's look at a point. Just going to create a point quickly here. Let's have this as -1 and let's have this as what? 2. Let's reflect along the x. What are we doing? We said, if this point is -1 and 2, Let's reflect along the X. What do we do? Or let's start by reflecting along Y. What do we do? The Y, the one you are reflecting about, and change what? The X. My X is -1 now. Where will it be? It's going to be +1. Wait, where are we reflecting by? The Y-axis. It means the Y-axis is my what? Mirror. Let's put this in physics. We used to do this when we're doing lines. That's the mirror. How far are we, this point, from the mirror? How many units are we from the mirror? 1 unit. If I'm 1 unit before the mirror, what should I be? 1 unit behind the. So if I am 1 unit on the left, where should I be? 1 unit on the right. So let's move here. Basically, you are moving this graph. Check. Move it. I have moved 1 unit. Is that okay? But I need one to be 1 unit where? Behind the mirror. What do you think this would be? Talk to me. 1 and 2. 1 unit on the left, 1 unit on the right. Can you see that my mirror becomes, my y-axis becomes what? The mirror, because I am reflecting about the y-axis. Let's reflect about the x. What are we going to have? So what are we saying? Keep the what? X, change the y. All right, we are reflecting what? -1 and 2, right? Reflect -1 and 2. What will it be? Our x remains as -1. What will our y be? What are we really saying? We are now saying the x-axis is the mirror. Where is the point we are reflecting? This. Where is it? It's 2 above the x. Above the mirror. If it is 2 above, where will it be now? 2 below. So basically, our graph is looking like this because we are just turning it upside down. Do you notice the x value will remain the same? Because our x value is still there. What is that? -1. What is our y value? -2, because we were 2 units. I don't know if you notice that my x, watch this, my x-axis becomes the what? Midpoint. Let me use the midpoint. What is my original? What is my original? -1 and 2. Now, if I reflect about the x, I want to do that again using the midpoint formula. What do I know at the x-axis? The y value is what? 0, which is the midpoint. X, no, we're keeping the x, right? Y1, because I'm working with y, plus y2 over 2 is the y point of what? Reflection. What is my y1? 2. Do I know y2? No. What is my y value? Cross multiply. What's your answer? So reflection is the, I don't know if it makes sense now. Lloyd, when I say reflection is the midpoint, I don't know if it makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense. Oh, yeah, it does make sense.
So if I tell you to reflect, I don't know, can I go to a different page? It's getting messy. All right. If I tell you to reflect this point, let's check this graph. I tell you to reflect this point, -1, 2, about any point on the graph. Let's look for a point. Let's look for this point here. 1 and 1. 1 and 1. Check. We are saying this point now becomes what? The midpoint. So if we take this and reflect it around here, this graph must be somewhere there. So I do not know this point, x and y. Let's call it x2, y2. Y, this is what? x1, y1. This is the point of reflection. What does that mean? What is the point of reflection? It is the what? Midpoint. How do you get x and y? x1 plus x2 over 2 is equal to the x point of what? Reflection. Do I know my x1? Do I know my x2? No. Do I know my x point of reflection? What is it? 1. What's your answer? 2 plus 1. Can you just by drawing a graph, just by... Let me just make sense there. 3. What about the y value? y1 plus y2 over 2 equals to y point of what? Reflection. What is my y1? 2. Do I know my y2? No. Do I know my point of reflection? 1. What's your answer? 0. Because you cross multiply. 2 plus y2. So what is y2? 0. So it falls here. You know what it means? It means the distance. Look, I don't have time now, but you can look for it. If you calculate the distance from A to B, it will be the same distance as B to C. If you use the distance formula. Because reflection is the midpoint between the original and the image. Please let me know if it's okay. You charge your stuff now. Let me know if it's okay, people. You've learned something here. Two more. I said 5, right? I have 2 more. Yes. Let's take your questions. Moses?
So can I ask if give you the coordinates exam, is it fine if you use the midpoint formula?
Yes. We can do exactly what I've been doing. You can do exactly what I've been doing. All right. Let's look at number 4 quickly. Reflection number 4. Reflection number 4. Reflect along y is equal to x. This you have been doing, but you don't know that you've been doing it. This is just the inverse. This is another way of saying what? Inverse. And what do? Swap x and y. This is what you've been doing when you do exponential and what? Log functions. You are basically reflecting the graph along y equals to x. You're going to get this. Okay, I'm starting. I'm starting. Check, Nana, and I'm live on YouTube right now. I'm live, and I'm going to say it live, so that people can go back and check the paper.
It's live this time.
You are going to reflect a point on the hyperbola on the axis of symmetry. Write it down. You'll come back and tell me. We are going to reflect a point. They'll give you under the hyperbola, there'll be a point, and they'll tell you to reflect along the axis of symmetry. And I'll be doing something similar. That's my 5th one. Okay, if it's there, good luck. If it's not there, good luck. But I think it's there. I'm not taking your paper. Leave me alone, Charles. All right, guys. When this say reflect a long y equals to x, what are we doing? We're inversing. Is that okay? For example, reflect y equals to x plus 2 along y equals to x. What are we saying? Or then let me say reflect point 3 and 4 along y equals to x. We are simply saying anywhere you see y, write x. Anywhere you see x, write y, which is the inverse. What's my answer? We are done there. 2 marks. Number 5, reflection 5. And I'll give you this last question to now do for me. Reflect along a line. This is the one, November 2024. November 2024. Take notes. Quote me. Guys, let's get on record. I don't know your paper. Because somebody says, Krazifizix. I don't know your paper, but my instincts is telling me this one, number 5. Somewhere there, it's by question 5. Under the hyperbola. Under the hyperbola. All right. But this is how you do it. We are reflecting along the line. Already you know that the axis of symmetry, for example, is a line, right? And everybody must be able to get the axis of symmetry. So reflect 2.3 along y equals to x plus 4. So we'll give you a hyperbola and give you a point and tell you to reflect along the axis of what? Symmetry. What do you do? My beautiful learners, I'm going to call this my old x, and this is what? Or let's say the original. Let me just say x1 and what? x2. What am I looking for? Not x2. x1, y1. I am looking for what? x2 and y2. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it 30 seconds and I'm out of here. Well, hopefully, I'm hoping to get to finance quickly. So I'll just do one questions there. Now, I am looking for the value of what? X. You know what I'll do? I'll go back to my equation. What is my equation? Y equals to x plus 4. But I'm looking for what? X. What is my old y? 3 equals to x plus 4. Can you see? I substituted by y and I'm looking for what? X. So what is x? How is x2? See what? 1. This child. x2 equals to what? -1. I'm done with my coordinate there. -1. How do I get my y? I'm looking for y. But what is my old x? What is my x value? 2 plus 4. What's my answer? 6. I am done. I am done. Are you not moving the 4 over? Yes. And you have the 5 types of reflection you're going to get. Along the line, along y-axis, along x-axis, along what? Around the point, along the line y equals to x, and along the line where you're given an equation. This is the most complex one, the last one, but it's quite easy. You throw your old x in to get your new y. You throw your old y in to get your, let's write that small note. Substitute old x to get new y. Then sub what? old y to get what? New x. That's the key there. Sub in your old x, you get the new y value. Sub in the new y, you get your old x. Okay, Moses, we will share. Quickly answer this question for me now. Write down the equation of h in the form. Can you see that form already? If h is the reflection of f in the straight line, x equals to what? 1. What are we doing? What are we doing with this? This is similar to what we just did now. So we have that, okay, and I have that. What is this value? We got negative half and what? 49 over 4. We want to reflect along which line? X equals to what? 1. Let's just put the 1 here, somewhere there. All right, just an estimate. What are we saying? What is this line? This line is now what? The mirror. Where's the graph? The graph is on the left-hand side. Where should the reflection be? The right-hand side. How many units am I away from here to here? From here to here is half. From here to here is 1. Does that make sense? From here, negative half. You remember we got this negative half a while ago, right? To the y-axis, 0. It's half. So how many units? What is 1 plus 1.5? Can do it. I am looking for what? X2 and what? Y2. Make sense? Do you notice the Y2 would remain the same? But I know that what? X1 plus X2 over 2, I know that the X point of reflection. What is my old X? Negative half. What is my X point of reflection? 1. Let's cross multiply. Negative half plus X2. We move the negative and it becomes what? Positive. 2 plus half would give us what? 5 over 2. So I'm done there. And my y value will remain what? The same, which is what? 49. Now can I write my equation? You don't need to complete the square, people. Hello. Sumeleng.
Evening, sir.
Ooh, let me stop this thing quickly.
Yeah.
So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, I understand the whole thing of reflection, right? But why are we making the X reflection equal 1 if 1 is the mirror?
Because that's my value of X. That's where we are reflecting. We said reflect
So it
along
has to-
the line X equals to what? 1. They give us.
Ooh, okay.
So
Okay,
the
sir. Thank you,
X
sir.
reflection is 1.
Okay, sir.
All right. Guys, let's quickly answer this. From this question, all right, from our equation, from here, what is the value of A?
It's in one.
Beautiful. So my h of x would be what? Negative 1, open bracket, x. Do you notice my turning point is now what? 5 over 2. But when I bring it into this equation, what happens? The sign must change because x is a what? Deceiving. It is plus here already. Negative 5 over 2 squared plus, what is my q value? 49 over 4. We are done there. Your P and Q are the turning what? Point. But remember, whatever is in the bracket must change what? Sign. Whatever is connected to the X must change signs. Guys, are we okay? Are we okay? My time for functions actually over, but I need to do exponential and we run away to finance quickly. I'd love you guys to have a full day before you write. Put all of these lessons together. Not that you're just sitting down and, your first day before the first day before you write, you're not doing anything, right? Yeah. You don't have a paper on that day. It's a no exam day. It's a day to sit with maths. The only subject in the country. Okay, let's look at this one quickly. I wanted to please answer question 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for me. You have 10 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are questions you must get, please. We are not negotiating. If I have to do finance some other time, but I'll see if I can do maybe 15, 30 minutes of finance. We stop this at 8, whatever we're doing, and do finance for 30 minutes. But please get me 10 marks here quickly. All right, guys, let's answer quickly. We have just a few minutes to get this done. Okay, we have a function f of x equals to negative 2 over x plus 1. Automatically, when you x the denominator, understand it's a hyperbola. And the second one, g of x, my x is what? An exponent. It means it's an exponential. And we are told point x13 lies on what? G. Look, it's already given. What is my y value? 3. What is my x value? What is k? 3. Imagine. Number 1 is done. X and y. Number 2, asymptotes of f. What is f of x? Negative 2 over what? X minus 1. Vertical asymptote, vax. X equals to what? 0. Horizontal asymptote, y equals to what? Negative 1. I'm done with that again. Number 3, what are we doing? Inverse. Remember what we've done here. What are they reflecting on? Reflect along what? Y equals to x. See it that way. That's why we're swapping, because we're saying y is x. Let's start by writing g of x. What is our g of x? 3 to the power what? X. Which means y should be equal to 3 to the power what? Now let us inverse. What does it mean? Anywhere I see y, what should I write? X. X equals to what? 3 to the power what? Y. How do we solve for y? Log. So what is y? Log base 3, right? X. We are done there. How many marks? 2 marks. Number 4. What are we looking for? The x-intercepts or intercepts. When we're looking for x-intercept, what are we saying? The y value should be equal to what? So 4.1234 basic marks that every learner should what? Get. Please, we don't make mistakes. Don't rush through. No, take your time. Get those marks. You know that if you let them go and mark this anywhere, those answers are going to be what? Solid and correct. All right, 4.4, let's quickly walk through. F of x, right? What's our equation? Minus 2 over x, right? So what are we looking for? X-intercept. 0 should be equal to what? Negative 2 over x. Can I move this over? Becomes positive. What do? Cross multiply. X equals to what? Done. What are we doing? Sketching. 5 marks. Beautiful 5 marks. Let us sketch. My dear learners, we're going to sketch both graphs on the same. Let's start with the hyperbola. What do we know with the hyperbola? Let's start from our asymptotes. What's our asymptote? X is 0, y is negative 1. Okay, let's use dotted lines. So I'm going to use a dotted line. X is what? 0. And y is negative what? 1. Do we agree? Are we agreeing on that? What's our x-intercept? X equals to what? Negative 2. That should be somewhere there. Already, I see the quadrants. If you are not sure of the quadrants, again, this is what you do. Check. This is positive, negative, positive, and what? Look at the value of your A. Your A is what? A negative value. Where are you going to get negative? Which signs? Positive times negative, negative times. So quadrant 2 and 4 makes a lot of sense. That is why we only got one x value for our intercept. We are done there. What is the next graph we are sketching? The inverse. All right. The Inverse. This one is f, right? What are we sketching? What is the inverse? Inverse of x is what? Log base 3, right? There's something I'm going to tell you on this. Two ways of doing this, but we can sketch straight by looking for your x-intercept or your y-intercept. Let's look for x-intercept. What are we going to say? If I'm looking for x-intercept, my y should be equal to what? Please watch this. I want to show you something here. 0 will be equal to what? Log. How do you get rid of the log? That 3 comes here, and it's a base, right? When it comes here, it must remain a base. So what do you have? 3 to the power 0 equals to x, which is equal to what? 1. Let's use a green marker there. X equals to what? 1. Are you with me? All right. What's the next thing? If I want to find my y-intercept, what should I do? Make x what? I want you to see what this calculator is going to give you. Check, put that on the calculator. You're going to get an error. Question is, what does that mean? It means there's no what? Y-intercept. It means y-intercept now becomes my what? Asymptote. Error. Because that's what asymptote means. It means the y-axis is my what? Asymptote. Because it's an error. All right? So, oh, it makes sense. Do you see we have the same asymptote for both the graphs? The question is, my children, what is the shape of this graph? If you are not sure of the shape, this is what you do. Don't stress. Look at this. We're saying y. If you are not sure, because those of us that are not sure, some of us are sure, we can quickly check. But if you're not sure, just write that equation down. Right? Okay. We said 1 here, right? We know that graph is going to go through that place. Now you are not sure whether it is like this or it is like that. This is what you do. Already I know 1. Look for a value greater than 1. Let's make it simple. Let's put a 3 because that base is 3. So when x is 3, what is y? If you put this in a calculator, you get 1. So when x is 3, y is 1. Does that make sense? Are you on the same page with me? You don't know, you are not sure. Just quickly try that. Now, try a number less than 1. You want to see, this one will now help you. Let's try 0.5. Please put it there. Y equals to log 0.5. So you are trying a number greater than 1, also less than what? 1, because you want to see the shape. What's your answer? This is for those that are not sure. Even if you are sure, just do it and be certain. What's your answer?
It's decimal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a graph. Negative? Beautiful. It's negative 0. Remember, it's a y value. Negative 0 will be somewhere here before negative 1. So this is where my graph. Can you see the shape? What's your graph looking like? It's not going to touch, right? So let's clean all of this now because we are done here. It's not going to touch the y-axis. All right, now I have the shape. You don't have to really now go through the points. It doesn't matter. But what I now know, please show the most important point is that one. G inverse. Always find your intercepts. And that is my graph. So possibly there's going to be a point of intersection, but we're not interested in that at the moment. One. Please, it's 5 marks, and I'm not expecting Elena to get this wrong. 5 marks. There's something very key that I need to tell you on this. Wow. Somebody said a road to Met level 6. Great. Thank you. Mama happy. Lovely. Means you're learning something here. Because functions alone and calculus. So whatever I've done takes you to level 5 without even adding algebra. Without adding finance. I have not added number patterns. All of this takes you to level 4, 5. Just functions alone. Calculus. Yes. If you can get functions right in calculus, take any paper. It's between 69 and 75. Paper 1 only. You have not counted algebra, you have not counted number patterns, you have not counted probability. What is the probability of choosing one boy among 5 boys? You've not counted that. You would get a level 5, level 6 easily. Somebody is busy teaching the paper with a level 1. 3 hours. But me, I don't know. That's a focus. Okay. If I can get this, so all your practice. And now, with all of those other topics, you're still going to get 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So our benchmark should be level what? 4 going up. If you can follow what I'm telling you to do. All right, but anyway, I'm not you. You're going to go and do your thing now. Okay, for what values of x will the axis of symmetry of f, which has a negative gradient, intersect with graph of f? Now, you see these particular ones now, they're now becoming extra challenging. But Elena has already gotten what? 2, 4, 6, 8 plus 5. How many marks? 13. 13 over 19 is an A, if you check. Almost an A. So almost a level 6. That means only if you can move like that, this question I get a level 5. This question I get a level 6. Not 0. All right, hold on. Let's move on. Let's interpret. For which values of x, so we know we are looking for what? X. Will the axis of symmetry of f, which has what? A negative gradient. Okay, let's pause there. Can we find that axis of symmetry, which has a negative what? Gradient. My beautiful learners, this is what you are looking for. I'm just going to draw it. That's what you are looking for. What's the equation of that line? That's what we're saying. But it's very easy to get. Please take note. For those of you that have been with me, we've spoken about axis of symmetry over and over again. F of x equals to A over x plus P plus Q. Please, this is a note now. Plus or minus. You cut that guy out. Don't forget this. You cut this guy out. I'm going to give you 2 or 3 points on this. Axis of symmetry. Number 1, with a positive what? Gradient. How are we going to write that? Y, see I've cut out A. I take the positive, x plus P plus Q, and then I solve. Number 2, the one with a negative gradient, what are we going to do? I am now working with the negative. X plus P plus Q. Then you solve. That is number 1, important point. Next important point. The axis of symmetry has gradient, which is positive or negative 1. It passes through the point of intersection of asymptotes. I'm going to explain all of this quickly. Oh, I'm running out of time now. But I want to do finance. Those of you, Google, I know you sent me some functions questions. We can look at it later on. All right. Can I quickly work with this too? What is our equation? Y equals to what? -2 over, my beautiful learners, throw away that -2. We don't need it. The one with a positive gradient, what will our equation be? Y equals to x. Don't worry about the negative on top there. You don't need it. That belongs to the A. The one with the negative gradient, what will it be? I'm going to do a few things on this. Negative what? X. Y plus. -1. All right? Here is another way to get it. Look at this. The examiner will tell you the one with a positive gradient. There's a standard formula. Y equals to x plus k. Find the value of k. Already I can see that my k is -1. But here's what I want to see. What are my asymptotes? Equation of the asymptotes? Talk to me. X equals to what? 0. Y equals to what? Can we throw it in? -1 equals to what? 0 plus k. So what is k? So what's my equation? Y equals to what? X. If that makes sense. I'm just substituting my what? Asymptotes. The one with a negative gradient. Y equals to what? -x plus what? K. Again, what's my asymptote? X equals to what? 0. Can we substitute what we have? -1 equals to -0 plus K. What is K? -1. So what's my equation? Y equals to what? -x. So these are two ways of getting. Either you substitute point number 2 or you use point number 1. Finally, on this one, this axis of symmetry, if you are given the equation of the axis of symmetry, we did this in our own private session, equate them to get what? Asymptotes. So we are given y equals to x minus 1, and we are given y equals to what? The two equations. What do you do? Absolutely full marks. Full marks, full marks, full marks, full marks, full marks. What are we looking for? If we equate them, what are we going to get? X minus 1 equals to -x minus 1. Can I throw the -x over? What do I have? 2x equals to what? 0. I don't know if you see that we already have our asymptote now again. Then y equals to 0 minus 1. So I have my equations of asymptote again. Please take note that how to get equation of asymptotes if you are given the axis of symmetry. You get full marks. Full marks. Full marks, full marks, full marks. All right. But can we answer this question now? We have only interpreted one part of the question. It says what? For which values of x with the axis of symmetry with a negative gradient? That we've done, right? Intersect. What does that tell us? Intersection means what? Point of? What do we do at that point? We equate. We equate with each graph? F. So now let's take our three equations and quickly walk through. Because we don't know, we cannot pick it from the graph. We're looking for that point. It's quite difficult to pick from the graph. All right? Which one are we using? The one with the negative. So we are saying point of intersection. Let's quickly get that done. Oh, I'm already eating my finance time. Point of intersection. Negative x minus 1. What's our question again? Minus 1. Let's try to solve for x. Let's try to solve for x. Let's move the negative one. What will it become? Positive, right? And if that becomes positive, what does that give us? 0. Does that make sense? Minus 1 plus 1. Can we cross multiply? Negative x times x. We're good? Can we divide both sides by negative 1? What is the value of x? Don't make a mistake. They want to tempt you there. It's plus or minus. If you just say root 2, you lose marks. When we are solving, it is plus or minus. We are done with that question. Let's look at the last one. Let's look at the last one quickly. Are we okay? All right. Please just interpret. If you read, interpret, it's something easy for everyone. Axis of symmetry with a negative, you get that. The point of intersection means you equate and you find the value of what? X. The last one, I want to caution you. I see something there. Okay, I know you are writing. 1 second, just want to read the question for us together. I want us to read together. It says, consider the graph of h. What is h? The inverse. But the inverse has been shifted. 2 units were to the left. Because x is our what? Deceiving. If it says plus, you know it's the opposite. All right. For which h of x should be what? Or g should be less than. Okay. Please, less than 1. Remember that value. Let's quickly write the question together and interpret. Oops, I don't think I'll look at this function. But if I can do this, we should be fine. So we can jump into some financial maths question. It says h of x is equal to the inverse. My beautiful learners, please, whenever you do these questions, they said g must be what? Less than 1. Please, before you conclude, look at the graph. Look at the graph. Whether you solve algebraically or what, but before you conclude, look at the graph. What does this tell you? I'm going to write the notes down. It means my g of x has shifted what? How many units? 2 units to the what? Left. Just for you to see what I'm talking about. Do you remember what my function is? G of x, right? We have an asymptote and we have a graph. What's my graph looking like? That. So straight. What is this value? 1. Now let's shift this graph. How many units? 2 units. To the what? To the left. If we shift, this one comes to 0. And this one also comes. Does that make sense? What will be the value of the intercept here? Because it shift 1 to 0. But here's where they want to catch you. When the graph is shifting, the asymptote must also shift. What was the asymptote? X equals to what? 0. The asymptote must also shift. So what's the new value of the asymptote? Negative what? 2. Because we are shifting this graph. How many units to the left? 2 units. The asymptote also does what? Shifts. That's where you need to look at the graph and remember that. Okay, let's solve. We can solve this algebraically. What is our g of x, by the way? Somebody remind me. What's g of x?
Negative 2/8.
Oh, but we're doing inverse. What's the inverse? All right, log base 3, right? X base 3. Now, what is this? Please check. If you cannot do it graphically, which is most preferably, but let's look at it algebraically here. What does this mean? I am replacing my x with what? X plus 2. So what do I have? That's fine. But they said less than or equal to 1. So check this. And I'm going to tell you something very, very crucial. Oh, I don't know with my finance now. We should focus on this one. Okay, let's solve this. Get rid of the 3. How do you get rid of the 3? It comes here, right? And this one becomes what? X plus 2. The 3 is a base. It stays as a base. What happens to the 1? It goes up. So what happens? 3 minus 2? 1. Are we fine there? But what does this mean? You are saying all the values that are less than what? X values are less than 1 from here. That's what you're saying if you leave your answer like that. But wait. Can we consider this part? No. An asymptote. Your graph must not touch that point. And cannot come beyond that point because it stops there. It's not going to touch. So you cannot say x is less than 1, and because your graph continues to infinity. But there's no graph here because the asymptote says, hey, we not stop there. Don't come near me. It means there's a restriction. What's my restriction? Your graph must be between what? That and what? Negative what? 2. They want you to miss this mark. Just understand. Your graph cannot go beyond negative 2. Please let me know if it makes sense. And please ask at this point, because I want to say one more thing here before we move away. Your graph can always conclude by looking at the what? Graph. Before you conclude, look at the graph. The graph shifts. The asymptote also does what? Shifts. All right, Joaquin, talk to me. You have your hand raised. I don't know if it's a mistake. All right. Okay, no problem. But here is what I want to quickly emphasize. Guys, please, I hope you're okay with this. Look at the graph before you make a conclusion. Always. Remember, there are once you see a log function, they are looking for that. It's common in log functions. Here's the final thing I want to say on the logs. Maybe we'll just do 1 or 2 questions on finance. Look at this thing here, please. I am, even if I don't do finance, if I need to look at this thing that has a fraction base, please. Never, ever leave. Please check this, and I want you to write it down. Don't leave your base of log as the original fraction. Please don't leave the base of the log as the or with the original fraction. I'll tell you what I mean. With the original what? Fraction. I'm going to quickly explain this. Log, if I write log base A over bx, please understand what this is. Whenever you see this, the examiner gives you this, please change it. What should I change it to? I am going to introduce a minus log. Instead of A over B, I'm going to write B over A. You are safer using the negative. Please and please and please. It's a trap. And for you to have confidence in this, I'm going to use numbers. Is that okay? I'm going to use what? Numbers. It's a big trap. They want to trap you. Check this. Examiner comes and says log 2 over 3. And they put a 4 here. I'm not going to leave it like that. We are going to compare my two answers. What should I do? We are saying this should be equal to what? Negative log. All right. Please, can you put this one in a calculator for me and somebody else? All the ladies, all the single ladies. If you're married, don't put it. If you're single, put it. All the gents, please tell me your answer. All the single gents. All right. The song will not sound nice. Negative what? You got the negative straight. 419. Gentlemen. All right. I hope that puts your mind at rest, that you have not committed anything. In fact, you have helped yourself. So you tell them that both gives us what? The same value. The reason why this will help you is because of inequalities. That negative will change the sign of an inequality. Let me see. For which value, let's see if it works here. For which value, I wanted to see something. Will log base 2 over 3 x be greater than 1? Let's check something. Here. What will Elena do? Elena is not changing. What will they do? They'll bring this one here, right? And say x will be greater than what? 2 over 3 to the power of what? 1. What's their answer? Okay. And let me know who listens to me right now. What would that learner do? The learner will say, okay, but I see that this is the original fraction. What would that learner do? Change it and become what? Negative log x 3 over 2. What would this learner now do? Multiply both or divide both sides by what? Negative. And once that learner does that, check your answer. You see the inequality are different already. This answer is very wrong. When you come out of the exam, I finished it. They are finishing you. All right? Are you with me? You will see that it's wrong now. What do we do? Get rid of the log, right? What would my answer be? X is less than what? 3 over 2 to the power of what? Negative 1. If you do this mathematically, you are saying x is less than. This is correct. Look at the person here. Greater than. Can you see the trap? My inequalities are different now. Can you see that? Because that 2 over 3, the original fraction, has a negative inside. And the negative will change my inequality. So please, I hope it makes sense, please. I hope it makes sense. Wow, this is such powerful tips I'm giving you here. Just let me know if you got that. And underline that thing. Never leave it as the original. Change it. Change it. So in this case, let's see what this question is looking like now. Now that we know what the trap is, and I see where the trap was going to catch us. Check. The trap was going to catch us on 6.5. Can you see that inequality there? Or it might not, because we will have changed its inverse. It might not. But otherwise, let's get this one. What is the domain? Okay, first we said I'm not going to leave my answer like that. I'm going to work with g of x. What's my g of x going to be? Negative log. Because 3 over 1 is isn't that 3, right? Okay. What is the domain? Quickly. X values. And whenever you do this, listen, x must always be greater than what? 0. Whenever there's a log, put that down. Whenever there is a log, x should always be greater than, not even equal to 0. X should be what? Greater than 0. So what's my domain? X greater than 0. We get number 2. Can we walk through number 2? Calculate the x-intercept. What do we know? Y should be equal to what? 0. Can we work that out quickly? Let's work that out. Log base 1 over 3x. Quickly, please. Work it out for me. Don't wait for me. Don't wait for me. Give it an attempt. What's your answer here? One. Is it 1? That's what we want to do. We'll do this. Right? But Elena, who just listen to me now, knows that there's a trap here. Okay, this one is still correct. This one is still correct because, yeah, this one is still going to be correct. But let's see if we're going to get the same value. All right? This one is still correct because 1 over, yeah. Negative log, but please work with this thing that I'm telling you here. This one, you are safer with this. This negative only helps you when you're dealing with what? The inequality one. All right, check this. Multiply both sides by what? Or divide both sides by negative. What do you have? X will still be what? 3 to the power 0. Okay, so whatever I've taught you still works. But keeps you safe on the inequality. Please don't work with that thing. This thing is dangerous when you see the original fraction as a base as a fraction. Okay, let's jump quickly out of time. What's next? Set the graph of the inverse, indicating what? Okay, can we write down the inverse first? What is our g of x again? Negative log what? Which is y. Are we there? So what's the inverse? Anywhere we see x, what do we write? So what is it? X equals to what? Negative. Can we get rid of the negative first? Divide both sides by what? Negative. Get rid of the log, the base will remain what? The base. So y is equal to 3 to the power what? You are allowed to write it like that. And if you want to write it as a fraction, This is 3 to the power negative 1, which is the same thing as what? 1 over 3. Because 3 to the power 1 over 3 is something as 3 to the power what? Negative 1. We are allowed to write any of the two. Oh, we want to sketch, right? We want to sketch. We want to sketch. Okay, let's sketch quickly, everybody. Let's sketch. Ooh, finance has suffered today. Money, money, money. To sketch, what do we need? X-intercept and the y-intercept. But let's check. How do you get x-intercept? Or how do you get y-intercept? Make x what? 0. All right. Y-intercept. X should be equal to what? 0. So what do we have? 1 over 3 to the power of. So I definitely see there's a 1. I don't know it's the shape. Right? Let's get the x-intercept. This is for someone who's not sure. Let's get the x-intercept. 0 equals to what? 1 over 3 to the power of what? X. How do you solve for x here? Logs. But what did I tell you? This thing can never be 0. So what is this? What does my error tell me? Asymptote. So we are saying there is no x what? Intercept. So it means the x-axis is my what? Asymptote. So where the graph is going, right? Very simple, my beautiful learners. Just grab your calculator, put a 0 there. Look for -1 and look for 1. Come, let's do it. Remember, that is 1. Already we have that. Okay. Y equals to 1 over 3 to the power of 1. You're going to need a calculator for this. 1 over 3, which is less than what? 1. Just mark somewhere there. You are trying to get the shape. When x is now -1, if you put this in a calculator, you're going to get what? 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you see the shape. It's an exponential graph. Can you see the shape already? So doing that helps you get those easy marks. This is what? Which one are we sketching here? The inverse graph. Please don't get these things wrong. They are simple marks. This is where we boost our marks. Are we okay? I want us to finish this because some people are doing cats tomorrow. Is it cats tomorrow? Yeah. When are you writing business? Oh, okay. All right. Some are doing cats, some are doing business. And they need to study. Quickly. They said indicate the intercept. Can we see? Indicate as well as the what? Asymptotes. Did we indicate the intercept? Always. Can you see? 1. Did we indicate the asymptote with a dotted what? Line. Please, very, very important. Let's do the last 2 questions. P, which is A and -1, is on what? G. Calculate the value of what? A. What's our equation of G? Log x is 1, log is 1 over 3, right? Okay. And we know our x is A and our y is what? Please do that for me. You have 30 seconds. Everybody. We have g of x, we have the x value, and we're looking for, or we have the y value, we're looking for the a value. Please let's get these 2 marks. I'll find a day for our finance, don't worry guys, even if it's 1 hour. I'll find the day for finance. But at least I want to be rest assured that I dealt with quite a number of things on, and there's one thing that I taught you. Let me see. Yeah, please quickly get me an answer. Get me an answer there. Are we done? Are we done now? I need answers. Share answers with me. We're finishing up in the next 5 minutes. What's your answer? Sorry? Good, what's your answer? What was this? Log? Is that fine? And we know P as what? A. So what are we looking for here? We know X and what? Y. What's our Y? -1 log A. What do we do? This one comes here, right? What does it become? 1/3 to the power of what? Equals to what? A. What is A? Well, remember, I don't like that. I don't like that. I want to keep, and I want to show you that we're going to get the same answer in case you're still doubting. What is g of x from what we did? That 1/3. Change the original fraction. What will it give you? Negative log 3. Now, what is my that? -1 equals to what? Negative log 3. Divide both sides by what? Negative. So what do you have? What is A? 3 to the power of 1. Can you see that? I'm still covered with my system, but it helps me more on what? Inequalities. Last one. Last one. For which values of x will, look, very simple. Throw in whatever you have. For which values? Here, I think a graph would be more ideal. But let's see if we can. I don't like doing these things algebraically. Sometimes it's a mess. But let's try. It says 1 is less than what? The inverse less than what? 3. I want to show you that it's a mess sometimes. What is my value? 1/3 to the power of what? How do you solve this? It's a mess. It is a mess. I will prefer us to use what? The graph. We are saying, let's interpret. This is y value, right? Where is my y lying between 1 and what? 3. Let's go to the graph quickly. Where is 1 on the y? Let me draw the graph here so we don't go forth and back, and then we quickly finish here. Check. Please try to read from the graph. You will get things done quickly and easier. Let me push it up a little bit. All right. What is this value? 1. Okay. And 3. They said y must be between 1 and what? 3. So let me use dotted lines. That is my 3. And that is my what? 1. Basically, you know what I'm looking for? I want my y value to be between 1 and 3. That's what I'm calculating. I don't know if it makes sense. But the problem is, I do not know that value. But I know that my y is what? 3. What is our equation? Y equals to what? 1/3 to the power of what? X. Let us, because this is the point of what? Intersection. We know y, okay, no, we know y value as what? 3. Let's go solve it. 3 equals to 1/3 to the power of what? X. There are 2 ways of doing this. You can use logs and you can use basic what? Algebra. If I want to use logs, let's revise logs. The base will come as the base and the number. What are you going to get? -1. Already, my beautiful learners, I am done. And what is this value? Where is the green? The green is between 0 and what? -1. We are done there quickly. 0, -1, and check how simple it is if you understand basic maths concepts. don't know if the lesson has been of any help to you. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do finance tonight. I don't know if the lesson has been of any assistance to you. Just before you log out, learners who have been following me, don't log out yet. Learners who have been following me will be able to do this. I am not sure of every other person though. And learners who have been following me, please don't disappoint me now, because I'm bragging now. One second. November 2022. I want to just check something quickly if it's this paper. November, just one question, takes about 2 or 3 minutes. I hope it's this one. Oh, it's not. It's not. It's not this paper. But I don't know why they said November 2022 here. Maybe they just added. Look at this. Quickly, before we go. I determine the asymptotes of f of x, 7 minus x over x minus 1. This is what we're going to close tonight. Quickly, just 2-3 minutes. Do it for me, everybody. Then don't tell me that you have forgotten. It's from this booklet. It was written, they said November 2022, so I don't know. That's what I was looking for. I've got a booklet that says November 2022. I want the asymptote of that. One minute. Some of you would learn it today. Oh, why are you crying, my Nana? Oh, can you learn? Honoring that this session was made for you. Oh, Lindsay, thank you so much. It's very helpful. Okay, Lindsay, before you log off, I need to have an answer from you for this particular question. All right, I see someone is using the K method. We've done this. I taught you both the K method and the what? Long division. Quickly, we're going to end the session on that note. And at least let me add to what you know on functions. Evan, you're too busy. Hey, my daughter. We should be done. Tombi, give me your answer, Nana. I don't trust all of these other people. Winner, you are my star chef. As I just left the link while you're solving this, please just give a review. A 5-star would be nice. Sir, will we receive full marks when using the this method? Which method are you talking about, Nebo? Is it the K method? All right, I'll do both methods for you now. Let's mark quickly. Let's mark. I like the long division because it saves me. There are some complex questions. Check this. Yes, talk to me.
So I was talking about the method you used to find the asymptotes, but you did answer me, sir. You just forgot.
Which one are you talking about?
where they asked us to find the asymptotes of that specific graph, and then you made the block.
No, the block is for axis of symmetry.
Yes, I'm talking about that one.
No, it's a
You did
different
answer
one.
me.
Okay. All right, let's quickly get this done. So I use long division here to make it simple. Please look at what I did. I just rearranged that, right? 7 minus x. Is that okay? The first step is to say negative x divided by x. What will that give you? Negative 1. That negative 1 comes here. Then you take that negative 1 that you have gotten to multiply that. What is negative 1 times x? Negative x. What is negative 1 times negative 1? Positive 1. You rule a line. Then you subtract. 7 minus 1? That x already has cancelled out. This is known as your remainder. This is known as your quotient. And this is known as your divisor. F of x is always the remainder over the divisor plus the quotient. What is your 6 over x minus 1? If I want to use the K method quickly, which I used to use the K method until I found some questions that are a bit challenging. If I want to use the K method, I'll say f of x is negative x plus what? 7 over. Now, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to introduce k, but by introducing k, this is what I'll do. Anywhere I see x, I am going to put what? X minus 1. Plus what? K. Or let me remove f of x. And this should be equal to. This should be equal to what? Or let me write this way. I am putting x there. All right, that's what I'm doing. I am replacing my x with x minus 1, then I'm adding a constant. But the numerators should be what? The same. Let's expand. Negative x plus 1 plus k, negative x plus what? 7. If I bring this negative x here, what happens? It cancels. If I take this 1 over there, what happens? K becomes what? 6. It means my f of x can now be written as what? Negative. Anywhere I see k, what should I write? Positive 6 over what? Now I can split this as negative x minus 1 over x minus 1 plus what? 6 over x minus 1. What's my answer? 6 over x minus 1. Do you notice x minus 1 would cancel x minus 1? But learn the K method, it always helps. Just 3 steps. Take the first x value, divide it by that, write the answer. Then you multiply, and then you subtract. All right, guys, let's end it here, because a lot of us have to prepare for exam. Just keep watch on the invitation for finance. We just look for 1 hour quickly, someday before we write, and get to do finance. All right, I hope it has helped. There's a link on the chat. Please just click on the link and, leave a review. The sessions have really assisted you, especially today. I love the functions we did today. All right, so we did not do finance. We didn't get to do finance, so we just cancel finance on this. Good night and good luck, everybody. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, 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 good night. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, 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 good night. Yes, I'm going for idols. I think I know I have your vote.
Yes. Today's day, what's the I don't know.
Thank you, Moses. Moses will speak mathematically. You too.
Today was 165.